Olson.
I'm Doug Olson, and we live in Gig Harbor, Washington.
We live in Gig Harbor, Washington. Great place to live.
Moving here was a bit of a challenge, but it brought our family together.
Yeah, it did.
Our family, we lived in Lake Forest Park and 4 kids, and when I got transferred, we had a family meeting. As a matter of fact, our son went to school the next day to say goodbye to all his friends.
They were like, yes, we want to move.
And so moving down here actually was a really good thing to do because kids get caught up in their own activities and their friends and all that, and families can disperse a little bit, but it brought us together as a family, and that was a real positive event in our lives.
Yeah. Our house was the party house, and
a good party house.
Yeah,
it was a good party house.
I mean, not too many keggers. We just decided that we wanted to have an open door policy for whoever came our way. Sometimes it was strangers. Lots of times it was people who had a need. Like we've had in this house, we've probably had four or five different people live with us for a year or so at different times.
We don't live by rules. Our house is open not only as our immediate family, but to our extended family. It's open to our friends, and they know it, and they feel welcome here. And if when you come in my house, if you feel comfortable leaving your shoes on, then that's perfectly fine. If you want to take them off, that's fine too. If you treat our house the way we would treat yours, then everything is just fine. In 1982, when we first moved here, it was very quiet, very peaceful. We had only, I think, one stoplight in the center of town. We've, over the years, watched the community grow, and we still enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's been gradual change. It's been good change.
What happens when you have that is you have to be open to change and new things coming. New generations come, new ideas come. It doesn't mean that you have to change what you believe, but you need to be able to embrace others and love them where they are.
As I've learned to listen to others. My grandmother told me a long, long time ago that I was born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. And so that's the sort of a philosophy that has stuck with me all the time. I mean, we have neighbors that we don't necessarily agree with on every point of view, but we still embrace them and they embrace us.
So every morning, I have to leave my husband. He has fun at home when I'm gone. And I meet my girlfriends up at the local coffee place, and we have coffee for an hour, and then we walk for an hour. So everybody goes, well, why don't you walk first and then reward yourself with coffee? And I go, oh, no. We go and we talk and visit and have coffee, and then we reward ourselves and we walk. So we get emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual help every day for free. We have been friends for over 30-something years. Jeannie and I have been walking together for probably 20 of those, and Penny and Jeannie and I have been walking together for probably 10. Yeah.
How did we meet? We both worked at the same Sears store. One day, we were both going up to the employee cafeteria in the elevator, and it got stuck between floors.
So we visited. I mean, I had seen him in the store, and
I'd seen her.
Yeah, but I would never date any of the guys in the store because it was like living in Peyton Place or something. So anyway, we visited, and then we used to go to a pub. There was a pub that everybody went to, to hang out. So occasionally, when he went there more than I did, but I'd go occasionally. And then finally, one of our friends fixed us up on like they were having a department store party at Christmas. Yeah. So
We started dating then.
Yeah.
I think that there is a link in all relationships, and it goes back to what I might have kind of indicated earlier, is that you need to communicate. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I was a poor communicator. What I said goes, what I say goes, and things were tight. And when I learned to communicate with my wife, I also learned to communicate with my kids. If most of us or all of us that we come in contact with were to communicate and listen and share, then life would be a whole lot simpler.
And so, we both came into marriage, I think, very unprepared. And so we had to work really diligently. People don't like to say that because, especially men, have a hard time thinking that they don't have answers or can't fix it. But, we're just human beings. And we all have weaknesses and we all have places where we have strength. You take yourself with you wherever you go. And if you don't get yourself to a place where you can communicate and, discuss things honestly and openly, then you're not going to be successful.
Whether it's maintaining your home or your car, you have to mow the lawn. Otherwise, it's a jungle.
Change the oil.
And you have to change the oil on your vehicle. Otherwise, it falls apart. And if you don't take care of your marriage in the same way, if you don't maintain it, if you don't communicate, if you don't listen to the other person, if you don't bend a little, if you don't meet in the middle, it's going to fall apart too. By the time you reach a point where it is totally falling apart, then you have to look back and say, what did I do wrong? It's a whole lot easier to maintain it than it is to try to put it all back together.
We're Christians, and as Christians, the one thing that the Bible talks about Jesus, he is truth and grace. So grace without truth is licentiousness, and truth without grace is harshness. So you have to have both of those things. So we believe that, we have to have both of those things. I mean, we tell each other the truth, but we don't go, you suck.
There's a huge mistake in a marriage when both parties think they have to meet 50-50, because 50-50 to them makes 100, and all you do is you come to blows, because anyone who only gives 50% is not committed. And in any relationship, if that's all you have to give, then your relationship isn't going to last a long period of time. In a marriage, it's 100%
Per person.
per person. That's what makes a whole marriage. We've struggled many a time, but we give a whole lot more than we receive. But when you give, you receive so much more back.
When you care for people, you care all the way. And so it's a choice. You make a choice to do that. Act and be gracious and kind and helpful of other people. And they say, kind of like a cliche on television, pay it forward. And that's a easy thing to say, but it's really not an easy thing to do. You have to be intentional about what you're doing. You can't just think it's going to, appear by magic. You have to actually be intentional. It's no big shakes, but that's how we live. And it's been a good life. If you don't ever take time to find out about another person, then you'll never have compassion. And it's so important. All the other things that we're talking about are important, but we need to have compassion.